What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, and funny stuff every Friday. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by Miss Brittany Brombacher.
Hello.
Who is putting up a link on the screen.
Typing a thing. I was so distracted that I almost burped into the microphone, and then I'm like, oh no, I can't pull
yes,
this timer.
You can. I mean, you can. You have the ability. But should you?
No, I think you have enough gas built up to last us the whole show.
Dude, I'm a Belgian queen. What can I say?
It sounded for a second like Miss Christine Steimer said she was a Belgian queen, but she's
also
a Belgian queen.
Belgian queen.
Only 17.
Teen.
Do you not know the words to Dancing Queen?
No, I know you are the dancing queen, 17, and that's it.
I mean, those are
Feel the beat from
words.
the tambourine. Oh,
tambourine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what a tambourine is?
I think I do.
Oh no.
Is that weird, like,
oh no.
Like that weird, like to Google.
Oh my god.
Is it the weird thing?
Are you really Googling tambourine?
You know what a
right now?
tambourine is, Brittany.
Oh, it's the little like hand drum thing.
Yes.
Oh my god. Hand drum? I've never heard of it called a hand
don't you like
drum.
hold it and shake it and you can like smack it?
Correct.
Listen,
yes.
Shake it, smack
Listen.
it, it's a tambourine, yo. I just made that up.
I'll never forget what a tambourine is now. Thank you, Sammer. Smack it.
Welcome to What's Good Games, everybody, a show where things go off the rails within the first few minutes. We hope that you're here for the ride. Thank you so much for joining us this week, whether it's your first episode or it's your 112th episode. We're glad that you are joining us on this Independence Day week. So if you're listening to this episode, of course, we exploded the fireworks and ate hot dogs and beers and all the other very quintessential American things to celebrate our independence yesterday. And to do so for What's Good Games means it's time to talk about our game of the year so far. But we're not going to get to that quite yet. We have a couple other things we want to talk about, including a few news stories this week, so we'll get to that in the second segment. But I do want to say that this week's episode is brought to you by Stitch Fix, Quip, and Gabby, and we'll talk about those folks later. We do want to say a big thank you to everybody who's dropped by our June Patreon streams this past weekend. We had a great time at the Happy Hour Q&A, and we made some really good progress in Until Dawn in the After Hour stream. I'm feeling good about where we're at.
We didn't kill everyone. I was kind of surprised.
We didn't really have an opportunity to kill anyone now.
I was just going to ask, did we even have... Okay, we didn't.
I don't think so. No. I think
anyone die?
Because no, everyone's still alive. Everyone is still in play.
Yeah.
The next stream, which will be Saturday, July 27th, we will be finishing Until Dawn. And I got to tell you, if you have never tuned in for one of the streams, you should really try and make it that one, because the ending of Until Dawn gets pretty batshit crazy. And that's when people can die every few seconds. So
really, really die.
No pressure, Andrea.
Okay.
Yeah. No pressure, girl. And it'll be fun because we'll all be together in San Francisco. We'll just yell at Andrea the whole time while she plays, because we'll not at you. We'll yell at the screen.
Yeah. Exactly.
Love and support you.
Thank you. That's all I ever ask for in life is your love and support. Well, I'm glad that you already named the streams for the end of the month. As a reminder, we have this website called whatsgoodgames.com. And if you put in the /DearWGG, you can send us in your questions. We'll take a look at that and see if, what we've got for this week. In addition to all of those announcements, we have our fantastic new Patreon producer shout-outs. This month, our Patreon producers are Tom Bock, Alex Rigopulous, Faris Attieh, and Mohammed Mohammed. And welcome to our Patreon community. This week, we've got Jacob Meyer, Luke Heff, Udini Diaz, Dylan Ferguson, Emily Robinson, Lesby, Jessica Hall, and Greg Vargas. Welcome, everybody.
I think we should call him Greg Vargas, because I think I put his name in twice.
You did. Just like I accidentally called Carly Carl. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It happens.
And Robert Cober, or what
Robert Cobber.
Yeah.
Robert Cober.
But he tweeted to us and said that actually his wife calls him that now, which I think is funny, because their wedding caterer did it. Right?
Yeah. Someone on their wedding. I don't remember who they hired for their wedding, but someone kept messing up his name, and I was like, that's amazing.
See, we're
Brittany,
not alone.
What is this Layers of Fear 2 thing?
Oh, yeah. So by the time this podcast goes up, I'll have a playthrough of me playing Layers of Fear 2, the first hour of the game. AMD provided me with a kick-ass rig, so I'm pushing the limits and playing this bad boy. And it's I haven't played enough to talk about it yet, but I have squealed quite a bit while playing this. So if you go to youtube.com/whatsgoodgames, you want to pour yourself a beverage, want to watch me play a spooky game, it's there for your viewing pleasure.
Do you want to see her lock eyes with the fear?
Yeah, that's basically what I do. I just stare at the screen the whole time while things jump out at me.
That sounds right. Mm-hmm. I'm into this plan. I think it sounds awesome. Layers of Fear 2, a game that you would have to fill me with lots of wine in order to get me to play.
Oh, yeah. It's real good.
But thank you to AMD for making that awesome rig possible. And before we get into the few news stories that we want to discuss this week, Britt, did you have any more housekeeping that you wanted to do?
Nay.
Okay. I wanted to let you guys know that this week's episode is brought to you by Stitch Fix. Describe your look in one word. Casual, sophisticated, playful. However you dress, Stitch Fix has the expert personal stylist that can help you look your best. Personal style is like a fingerprint. Everyone has their own. Whatever your style, the expert stylists at Stitch Fix are ready to help you express yourself. Not all clothes are a fit for all men or women. With Stitch Fix, your personal stylist will send you clothing that makes you look your best. Less one size fits all, more this fits your style. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. To get started, you got to go to stitchfix.com/whatsgood and answer some questions about your preferred styles. Your personal shopper will ship a box of clothes, shoes, and accessories out to you, and there's no commitment required. You only pay for what you keep. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. Plus, the $20 styling fee is automatically applied towards anything that you keep from your box. And you'll never have to think about looking good again with Stitch Fix. What I really love about Stitch Fix is going onto the website while I'm waiting for my next fix to arrive and doing the voting process. Do you ladies ever do that? The thumbs up and thumbs down?
Thumbs
on all
up, thumbs down.
Really,
It's better than like a dating app for me. I'm just like, this is a little easier. Sort of like the swipe right, swipe left.
you're like, yes
But
on
with
these
clothes.
booties, no on this blouse, yes on this necklace, no on these jeans. It's really fun. I find it very therapeutic.
I recently got a box in, and one of the things that was sent to me was this yellow dress. And the way it was cut and styled, I'm like, usually these don't look good on me. I'm not like super excited about it, but I tried it on and I'm like, oh my God, this looks real good on me. So that's something else I love about it, is that they send you stuff that you probably would just see at a department store and just pass it over because you're like, oh, that's not going to look good, and skip it. But when they send it to you, you're like, I may as well try it on. They picked it out for me. And I've
It's
got
in my house right now.
Yes, exactly. And so I've got a lot of my new pieces of my wardrobe thanks to pieces like that.
Yeah.
Good thing. Yeah.
You can get started today at stitchfix.com/whatsgood and try on your yellow dress that you didn't think would look good by getting an extra 25% off when you keep everything in your box. That's right. Stitchfix.com/whatsgood will get you an extra 25% off when you keep all of the items in your box. Stitchfix.com/whatsgood. This week, our first news story is all about Epic. Wait a minute, you're saying.
Boy.
Didn't you girls talk about Epic Game Store a lot last week? Why, yes, we did.
Yep.
But this is not about Tim Sweeney. This is instead about Shenmue 3. So Epic will refund Shenmue 3 backers upset by the game's move to the Epic Game Store. This write-up comes from Polygon. Some of those who backed the campaign to make Shenmue 3 on Kickstarter were upset when the developers moved the retail product from Valve's Steam storefront to the Epic Game Store. Today, those same backers were informed that even though they were promised a Steam code at launch, they won't be able to get one. Those upset by the debacle are being offered a full refund by Epic Games, not Shenmue 3 developer Yznet. The announcement comes courtesy of a Kickstarter update from the game's development team and a series of tweets by Epic CEO Tim Sweeney. Oops, I lied. He's in this story. We had originally planned for PC distribution through Steam, Yznet said. In response to backers who have requested Steam keys for their rewards, we discussed offering the keys on the day of release. However, coordination with the sales policies of the involved companies was untenable, and as a result, we are not able to make day one distribution an option for Steam keys available. The post goes on to offer either physical product or digital game codes for Shenmue 3 via the Epic Game Store or PlayStation 4. If that's not sufficient, developers say say they will give backers their money back. Some restrictions may apply, however. Those who back the project at higher tiers, for instance, may not be able to get all of their money back. Here's the Kickstarter, though. Oops, I meant the kicker. Freudian slip. Any and all refunds will come courtesy of Epic Games, not Usenet or Shenmue 3's current publisher, Deep Silver. Epic's funding the cost of all of the Kickstarter refunds resulting from Shenmue 3's move to the Epic Games Store so that refunds won't reduce the development funding. This quote is from Tim Sweeney. Epic is funding the cost of all the Kickstarter refunds resulting from Shenmue 3's move to the Epic Games Store so that refunds won't reduce Usenet development funding. That's a bold move by Epic, but Sweeney went even further. When future games go Epic exclusive after offering crowdfunding rewards on other PC stores, he said in a follow-up tweet, we'll either coordinate with colleagues at other stores to ensure key availability in advance or guarantee refunds at announcement time.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
This is fantastic in the sense that like good guy Epic. Even though yes, people are probably like, I still hate them because they've taken away my Steam key. Yeah, okay, I get it. You're mad. Fine. But the fact that they are like, you know what? We're not trying to screw over the developer. That is basically what they've said from day one, and they've stuck to it. And that's what I really appreciate. Is like they have an agenda, and they're honest about their agenda, and they are continuing to push it. And I'm like, yeah. I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad when someone's like, you know what, we're trying to make this better for developers, but we also don't want to totally, screw over any of our players. So like, we'll do our best to make this right by you out of our own pocket. And like, meanwhile, Steam's just sitting around being quiet. So
doing nothing, not making
Your
any
bullshit.
moves.
Your bullshit detector isn't going off with Epic or Tim Sweeney.
No, like I already said, I alady talked about Tim Sweeney enough last week. I like him. I think
He saved the
guy.
forest.
He did
remember
save the forest. Now he's gonna save all the developers. Our Fern Gully. But for game dev.
I remember when it was a cluster because people, once they announced the Epic partnership, folks were trying to get their money refunded and the refunds were being declined. And then people were like, what do you mean? I wanted my Steam key. And then everyone was really mad. I mean, hey, like if you were promised one thing and now they're like, nope, we're just going to pull a little slip here. Like I can understand that being a frustrating thing. And so definitely the right call to offer refunds. If you don't want to leave your life that you've built on Steam and for Epic, hey, I get it, but at least now you'll get your money back. I think I read somewhere that if you want a Steam key, you have to wait a year after release and then you can get your Steam key. Yeah. But if you don't want to do that, then you have other options. But hey, I don't know how this could have been handled any better considering the circumstances.
Yeah, it would just be exactly what Tim says, in that you would have that at the announcement time, like ready to go as part of messaging. Like that's probably the only thing that they can improve upon in the future is like, hey, this is happening, but also we understand that a lot of you may have made plans and or are expecting a certain thing and you're not going to get that thing. So you can either take one of these other options or we will give you your money back.
Yeah.
But I think that's super awesome that they are making sure the development of the game doesn't lose any money, because that was already a game that obviously needed it. It needed to be crowdfunded. So
And
imagine?
Yeah, and the crowdfunding only covered a small portion of the true development cost.
Totally. The crowdfunding was basically like, show us there's an interest so that other investors are willing to put money up for this. And, it was enough. So, woo.
I don't even know if Epic could have not okay, let me start over. I don't think there's a universe where Epic could have been like, okay, sorry, you're going to have to refund these yourselves. Because if you think about it, their whole messaging this time has been, we're here for the developers. We want the developers to save money. And so if Usenet had to, or Deep Silver had to refund or take care of the refunds, it'd been like, oh, so now because of their deal with you, Epic, they're losing money and having to issue refunds. So I'm not saying this is a bullshit detector because I think this is the best way you could have handled this. But at the same time, I don't think they could have gotten away with passing the buck on the refunds to Deep Silver or Usenet because it just
would have gotten away with the two if it hadn't been for you kids.
Yeah. No, what's the word? You what kids? You
pesky kids and that dog, or I don't know.
No, it's you.
I don't know. Mangy?
Anyway.
I don't know.
Mangy kids.
Mangy kids. Pesky?
Pesky. I said pesky.
Oh.
I don't think it was meddling.
Meddling.
Work
That's
for
a
you
word.
meddling kids.
There we go. But yeah.
I'm with you. I don't think that Yeeznet and Deep Silver would have done this deal if Epic hadn't volunteered to take on the cost, because I think they know the public backlash would have been swift based off everything that we've seen with other publishers coming forward with their deals with the Epic Game Store. But I'm glad to see that Epic once again is just beating the drum of, hey, we're here for developers. Don't forget, we just want the developers to get the money. And I know that like the ongoing conversation that we talked about last week was about, well, is the Epic Game Store more consumer friendly or more developer friendly? And I would say maybe it's not such a bad thing, but the store is trying to put more money in the pockets of the developers making the game. Just food for thought. All right. Next story. Steimer, do you want to read this one?
I don't get to read the next one?
Okay.
I want to read the
Brittany,
last or the next one.
do you want to read
Yeah.
this one?
I would love to. Sony, I wanted to read about us, but I wanted it Steimer. No, it's okay. You can get Geralt.
Okay.
Sony is considering studio acquisitions ahead of PS5 via IGN. Sony is considering acquiring more development studios as it gears up for the launch of PS5. Talking to Nikkei, translation via Komatsu, Sony and Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Jim Ryan said that, quote, content is more important than ever before, aka the most PR thing ever. Anyway, in order to secure more content, the company is considering the merger and acquisition of game developers. The thought comes to Sony as it observes new companies enter the industry, such as Google with its Stadia streaming platform. But while Sony no doubt needs to work even harder to ensure it's competitive, the gaming giant welcomes new players in the space. Quote, companies new to the games industry looking at the market with hope is something we definitely welcome, said Ryan. Sony Interactive Entertainment has 25 years of experience in the games industry and has big assets.
I got big butts and I cannot lie.
The other companies can't deny. Indie walks in with itty bitty exclusivity. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. Should this become more than a consideration, it will see Sony acquire more developers for its first-party portfolio, meaning more studios working on PlayStation exclusive games. Exclusives have long been key to ensuring console success stories, and Sony has arguably seen this more than ever during this generation's lifespan with PS4 games such as God of War and Uncharted 4. Don't forget about, Spider-Man. It seems likely that Sony would want to secure more exclusives for the upcoming PS5. And then it's funny because
that's from the other thing.
Because the next story kind of got leaked into here. So it's like, Sony wants to secure more exclusives for the upcoming PS5. Henry Cavil flaunts his Witcher's bottom.
I was like, what? That's definitely different.
Hold your thoughts on Henry Cavill's bottom. I think the reason why they didn't put Spider-Man in here is because it's not from a Sony-owned studio.
Oh, yeah.
But it is, even though it's an exclusive. But they don't own Insomniac, at least not yet.
Speaking of that,
see, as they're saying, the company is considering the merger and acquisition of game developers. Brub's beard.
I think obviously Insomniac Games is an easy target for if PlayStation was going to buy a studio, which studio would they buy? They have a long history of working with Insomniac on several titles, including the well-known Ratchet and Clank. And I think that they tried doing a little thing with Microsoft with Sunset Overdrive, and it did not work out in their favor, even though I still stand by that game being
that was a good game,
a fantastic gem that a lot of people overlooked. But if I was Insomniac after having this amazing run with PlayStation for Spider-Man, I'd be like, hey, maybe that's what I'm going to shack up with. Or maybe Ted Price is over there going, yo, we've been doing just fine by ourselves. We don't need anybody to buy us. We're good.
There's that, but then there's also like Ted Price in a real good spot. He's got technically two companies that could be wanting his stuff, right? Like, because even though Sunset Overdrive didn't do great, Insomniac is still a killer developer.
Absolutely.
So it'd be like Microsoft is already looking to beef up. So I see no reason why he could not create a bidding war and get himself mucho Dolores for his company.
That's a fair point. I don't know how much Xbox would be willing to bid up at this point, knowing that they've made all of these other acquisitions for studios that are on their slate. I think that they've maybe spent their budget, as it were, to buy studios to be like, hey, maybe we need to pump the brakes on buying studios and really start publishing some games first and selling some more hardware to make good on those investments that we've made already. But I don't know what other studios Sony might consider acquiring. I thought Double Fine would have been a shoo-in, but obviously Microsoft beat Sony to the punch there. But yeah, I'm thinking like middle, like
They also
double
kind
A
of beat
studios.
them to the punch with like, oh my god, the people who did Hellblade,
Ninja Theory?
And yeah, so like they've kind of, so that's why I'm like, I wouldn't necessarily count Microsoft out if Insomniac was looking to sell, just because I feel like they've kind of swooped in a couple of times already and taken.
Swooping is bad, Steimer. Yay! I'm glad you get
it. Swooping is bad.
Dragon Age.
People are, I'm like, that's a Dragon Age thing for people who are very confused.
I think what needs to happen is Sony just needs to acquire THQ, and then they have all of the studios. And now basically there's no independent studios left because Sony
because THQ owns almost 200 IPs.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You're not wrong.
I know. I was trying to think. So Quantic Dream's off doing like their own thing right now. They have like this new taste of found freedom, and they're like, we're doing things. I can't think. I'm trying to think of what would make the most sense. Like, what's an actual like probable acquisition here?
Well,
I'm struggling.
When I look at Sony's first-party slate of games, the glaring gap in type of game that they're missing is first-person shooter. Right? If you look at Xbox, they've got Halo, and then they've got their third-person shooter, Gears, and so they really have that like high action sector of gamers covered, which is a very giant portion of gamers who buy games every year, right? Look at Call of Duty. We know that Sony's not going to be buying Activision, obviously.
Yeah.
So what big company that does either a third or first-person shooter is available and would be a potentially good partner for Sony?
You get
as a brand?
Insomniac and you get Resistance.
Dude, I'm fucking hoping another Resistance is coming so bad. But that's it's kind of more of a narrative niche title in the shooter genre at large. I don't look at Resistance as like a blockbuster shooter.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, Guerrilla used to do Killzone, but I feel like PlayStation, at least in general, might be like, you know what, our first-person shooters, they never like do as well as say a Call of Duty or a Battlefield. So maybe we should just focus on maintaining those partnerships and making it look like those are exclusive to us.
Yeah.
Because the modern consumer doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground, and like just trick them.
What if they bought People Can Fly? What if they bought People Can Fly and they took over the publishing rights from Square Enix for the new Outriders, the new FPS game that we saw at the Square Enix press conference at E3? I think that could be really interesting.
Yes, that could be interesting.
Because People Can Fly make great shooters. I love Bulletstorm. That was awesome.
I'm trying to think, what about I mean, this is a thing. Ooh, crazy thought. Because I was going to say,
come at me with the crazy.
I'm coming at you with the crazy because I'm looking at like Level 5, for example, right? They made Dark Cloud, they make Ni no Kuni, Yokai Watch. I don't know if, and I think Ni no Kuni actually is a PlayStation exclusive already. So maybe I'm just like talking out my ass here. But then I was thinking, like, do they really need like the big JRPG studios to be under their umbrella? I was like, what if they could get Final Fantasy VII exclusive? What if they could get Square Enix? But that wouldn't work.
I mean, that would be a gigantic get if they got all of Square Enix. I mean, it would make sense because they've done so many PlayStation exclusive deals with Square games already. Like, it's like a tee up for a partnership, but I don't know if Square would want to sell that way.
And that would be really mucky, especially with all the licensing deals they have going on right now.
Yeah.
True.
Interesting. Maybe they can acquire Western Games.
Hey,
and they can feature us on their little, feature screen all the time, and we can talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, that would
feature
be
us on your featured screen.
Feature us on your feature screen.
Feature us on your feature screen, please. Well, something to ponder as we go into the next generation. Let us know in the comments below who you think Sony should buy, and if there's a studio that you think would be a perfect match for Sony Interactive.
Capcom. Oh.
I mean, that also seems like a good fit, but I don't
Capcom
know,
isn't either
given
for me right
Capcom's long history with Xbox, it seems like it would be, I mean, not out of the realm of possibility, just not probable.
Yeah, and Capcom's doing real good right now. I mean, if this was a couple years ago, maybe we could be like, well, maybe that would be a good idea. But with Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and Monster Hunter, they're just like sit on their high horse. They're doing real good. But
They're like, I
still
got this.
interesting.
It's fine.
Yeah, we're fine. We're making lots of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Can I read the world's most important news story?
You go for it.
If you missed it this week, you get your ass on the internet right now and look at this other ass because it's beautiful. Henry Cavil flaunts his Witcher's bottom and other photos from Netflix's new show. This is from Eurogamer. This is going to be really, this is quite a hilarious read, so I'm just going to lean right into it. What a fine rump Henry Cavill has. A super bottom, you could say. So why not slap it on a poster for Netflix's new Witcher TV
Or
show?
slap it in general. Ayo.
Hey. Anyways, yes, exactly. Which is why Cavill, turned away from the camera, decked out in full Witcher garb, is the lead image for the show. And it's a clever shot because, bum aside, it's how you see Geralt, the character Cavill is playing, Ledoy, for hours and hours when you play the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt video game. It's familiar. It's saying, this is the character you know, and this is his ass. I added that last part. But, and his carrying only one sword in place of the two you're used to seeing him with in the games. As people pointed out in the comments below, Geralt carries one sword in the books, leaving the other with his horse Roach for when he needs it. And the show, remember, is based on the books, not the games. Witcher showrunner Lauren Hissrich referred to it on Twitter too, quoting, Geralt is stoic, circumspect, balanced, fierce, soft and squishy in a tiny place in his heart that he'll never reveal until maybe the end, and even then it will just be a hint. And yes, he only carries one sword, and wait for it.
I love it.
Until wait for it. Shit. ... She wrote and let the thought trail off. Netflix also released the first in-character pictures we've seen of Ciri, played by Freya Allan, and Yennefer, played by Anya Chalrata. I don't know how you say your name. I'm sorry. But yeah, and there was more than just the butt shot from Henry Cavill. There was some very fine jawlines.
Let's talk about your tweet.
Yes.
Your tweet, Steimer.
The tweet of thirst.
Yeah.
The tweet of thirst heard around the world. Not quite. I mean, the Witcher promo shots look real good, y'all. He looks real good.
No, it was so funny because I hadn't seen these yet. I just see Steimer's tweet, and she's like, listen, Geralt could always get it, but goddamn, this ain't fair. And I looked, and I'm like, yeah, he looks real good.
And I think there was a subsequent tweet of, if this is the image I see before I die, I'm okay with it.
Oh yeah, because I told her, I said, Steimer, what are we gonna do? And Steimer said, we're just gonna die from the hotness. And I said, but if we die, we can't see Geralt anymore. She's like, that's fine. That's a good way to go.
If I die in a way that I'm prepared for, like it's not a sudden death, please show me these images before I go, and I'll be like, yes.
Like, just look at Henry Cavill's thighs one more time.
Yeah, just his big chonky tree trunk thighs into it.
I love how the internet has completely 180'd on Henry Cavill as Geralt, because we all remember when he was first announced and they did that first test shot of him in the wig, people freaked the fuck out. They were like, oh my God, not my Geralt, and all this. And I was like, just give it some time. You know, he's got to like get into character. He's got to be in full hair and makeup. This is clearly just a test shot. And now these photos clearly do not disappoint.
There was also a funny sort of joke article like, man, the Witcher production gets delayed because Henry Cavill won't stop accepting side gigs. And it's a joke about like how many side quests are in The Witcher. But people didn't read the article and they were like, you should just fire him then. What an unprofessional actor.
Wow.
like y'all did not read the story. Lol.
The joke. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Right
straight over the head.
Did you see Yennefer's character?
I did.
Do you see all the fur she has on her?
I like her outfit a lot.
Okay.
I think her outfit is pretty dope.
Yeah, she does look. And she has the violet eyes.
Does she? I could. In the shots I saw, I was like, she looks like she just has brown eyes.
You know what I want to do is I want to read the books because I'm familiar with Witcher lore in terms of like what you get in the Witcher video games. But when it comes to the books, I think I read one many years ago, but I don't remember much about them. But I remember they were really good. So I want to find out what books I should read and in what order. And then I would like to read these before.
That definitely exists on the interwebs.
Yeah, because they weren't originally translated for a long time, right? They were only in Polish for like the longest time.
I mean, they've been in English at least some of them have been in for a little bit.
Oh, is the whole
little bit now.
But we don't know if the whole series is translated. Maybe this is worth Googling.
Off the top of my head, no, I don't remember.
Because this is coming out this year. So, hey.
Give me Henry Cavil as a Geralt. Because he's really hot, but he's also cool. And he carries a sword and leaves his other one on the horse. And then he stabs monsters but people too. He's Geralt.
Geralt.
That should be the theme music.
Netflix, give me a call. Happy to oblige and give you some of my original tunes.
Yeah, so the 8-episode Witcher series will be released on Netflix at some point during the last 3 months of the year. Oh, so that's coming up.
I will stay inside my house and binge watch.
Oh, yeah, girl. Oh, my God, I'm sorry about it. It's going to be great.
I'll send you like
really
a nice faux fur blanket so you can like snuggle in faux animal fur and watch Geralt's chonky thighs. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, girl.
He's just going to like stomp, and I'm going to be like, yeah.
You can order yourself some pie hole, live your best life.
This sounds like a really nice time, actually.
Get a bottle of wine, get a mac and cheese pie.
Watch some Geralt. Okay, on that note, that's going to do it for the news this week. As you can tell, because it's a holiday here in the United States, the news is pretty light. There was something that was going on with some streamer who likes to have a fake mustache, but you know what? We can't be bothered to talk about that guy. So you can go somewhere else like KFGD if you want to hear about some other news of the day. For now, let's take a short break, and when we come back, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for our Game of the Year So Far discussion. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. It's segment 2 of the What's Good Games podcast. This is normally where we talk about what we've been playing, but because it's a holiday week here in the United States, we decided to once again bring to you our Game of the Year so far.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, this week it's brought to you by Quip. Listen, we're not the first to say it. Sometimes we need a vacation from our vacation. Delayed flights, hotel snafus, chatty travel companions. Get away for 2 minutes, twice a day with Quip. Their wireless electric toothbrush is lightweight and compact, so it packs away easily in your tote or carry-on when you overstuff your luggage. Hey, it happens to all of us, unless you're Brittany and you constantly travel with a giant checked piece of luggage. No shade. True. We love you. Plus, the timed sonic vibrations give you a meditative break from that jam-packed itinerary, even if it's just between moving from the hammock to the pool chair. Did I say hammock? I meant hammock.
You did.
Hammock. Hammock? Hammock.
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 Sorry.
I haven't read the word hammock in a long time. Speaking of sensitive sonic vibrations, they are for an effective clean that's gentle on your sensitive gums because people brush too hard and some electric toothbrushes are too abrasive. Plus, Quip has got that built-in 2-minute timer that pulses every 30 seconds to remind you when to switch sides and help you clean your whole mouth evenly because up to 90% of us don't brush for the full 2 minutes or don't clean evenly. Guilty as charged. I don't do it all the time. Quip is one of the first electric toothbrushes accepted by the American Dental Association, and they're backed by over 25,000 dental professionals, and they have thousands of verified 5-star reviews. When it's finally time to go home, you can keep staycationing with a fresh and simple health routine. I love my Quip because I never have to worry about it being charged when I travel. And you guys know, we are on the road for What's Good Games all the time. We all have our Quips and we just toss it in our DOP kit, as the cool kids say, because we learned that. It's just a fancy way to say toiletries bag. And, well, you knew that. Didn't we talk about that on the show once?
Yeah,
Probably, and I forgot it already.
That sounds right. Plus, one of the major things I really love about Quip, in addition to it being a very convenient way to travel with a fancy toothbrush, is that they always keep me stocked on toothpaste, which is super handy. It just arrives in the mail, and I never even have to think about it. And that's why I love Quip. And I'm taking it to Los Angeles this summer because I'm going down to visit Steimer. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And
Party
maybe,
time.
and maybe we're all going to a really super cool secret event that we can't talk to you about yet, but you'll know about it soon. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/what'sgood right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. That's getquip.com/what'sgood to get your first refill pack for free. And just as a reminder, I know that you can buy Quip in stores now because Quip is exploding because they're the best. But when you buy from us and from our link, it helps support everything we do here at What's Good Games, and we appreciate every dollar that you guys send our way. Next up is Gabby. Looking for new home or auto insurance is the absolute worst, but throwing away money on a mediocre policy is just, well, a waste of money. Most people overpay for their car and home insurance because shopping around is an absolute nightmare. You have to fill out tons of tedious forms and deal with being bombarded by spam calls and aggressive salespeople, but now you can find the best insurance in just 2 minutes. Gabby is a free service that helps you save money without the stress. It used to take hours to sift through and compare insurance policies to get the best deal, but Gabby does insurance shopping for you in minutes. They use your current insurance info to immediately compare your policy against quotes from nearly every major insurance company to find you the best rates for the coverage you need. They find savings for 2/3 of users with an average of $865 a year. Just think about all of the video games you guys could buy with that extra cash. You could finally pick up the VR headset that you've always wanted.
Oh boy.
And unlike other insurance comparison sites, Gabby will never sell your data to insurance companies, so no annoying spam or robocalls. Take 2 minutes and see if you can save up to $856 a year on car insurance today. Go to gabby.com/WGG to start the process of saving money with no fees, no forms, and no spam. That's GABI.com/WGG to save money on your insurance today. All right, now it's time for us to discuss the game of the year so far. This year has been an interesting one. I was going to say a weird one, but there's been a plethora of games. But I feel like at this time last year, we had some really strong contenders. Obviously, we had God of War, which was a huge contender, and obviously went on to win many Game of the Year awards from several outlets, including us. But this year, I feel like it's a little bit more of a toss-up. But, Brittany, I know that you've done a lot of research on this. Would you like to kick things off?
I would. So here's the thing. I polled our community. I'm going to start with this. I asked our Reddit and Twitter what their favorite game of the year was so far. I didn't necessarily specify whether it was personal or critical because they're different things, right?
Of course.
And so this was interesting. Here are the games that we have. The number one game by a landslide was Resident Evil 2, which is not surprising. But not closely following it, but the next up was Sekiro, Devil May Cry 5, The Outer Wilds, Days Gone, and then The Division 2 were tied. Mario Maker 2, Bloodstained, and when I say tied, I tallied the number of people who voted for these. So, let me start over. So you have Days Gone, The Division 2 tied, Mario Maker 2, Bloodstained, and Mortal Kombat 11 were tied for 7th place. And then for 8th place, Plague Tale Innocence, Cadence of Hyrule, Metro Exodus, and Katana Zero were tied. And then number 9 was Dreams, Apex Legends, and Rage 2.
Can you copy and paste this into the doc? Do you have this written down somewhere?
Of course, girl.
I was trying to write them down, and all I wrote down was Mario Maker 2.
I mean, you know what? Like, I give you an A for effort. I'm happy that you at least tried.
Thanks.
There you go.
Oh no! Oh, it's covering your face now, Brittany.
No, not in Skype. In the doc, Brittany. In the doc.
Oh, is it my face? Hi, I'm about to text right now.
You're back.
Not on Skype. Put it in the actual.
Just for everybody watching at youtube.com/what'sgoodgames.
I was like, what do I do?
Just a reminder: anything you text or type into the chat will appear on camera. Just an FYI.
Well, good thing I didn't type anything important.
True, I guess. Oh, hey, thanks, John. John came out here to give you some more wine because he's the best.
I see him.
Where's my wine, you asshole?
Wait, what?
What did he say?
Yes.
You want the rest of it?
Yeah, you might as well just leave it here.
Just leave the bottle. It's fine.
Just leave the bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
All right, Brittany,
What?
paste
What?
it in the actual document.
She did.
I
She
did.
did.
I
Oh,
did.
where?
Okay, so
Right above the e-penis.
I definitely think we just start with the biggest one here and work our way down.
Yeah.
Obviously, to me, the contender right now, the top contender is Resident Evil 2. That would be my number one pick for Game of the Year if I had to pick right now.
Yeah, easily.
Even though I don't like scary games, everyone's like freaking out about this thing, so I'm just like, yeah, they probably would definitely make it on there. The sad part to me is like I haven't finished any of these games. You know what the game I did finish was? Crackdown 3.
Oh, well.
No one ever, and
yeah.
I'm not saying it should be GOTY material. It's definitely not. But I'm just saying it was fun enough that I actually completed all of it, and the correct size. That's what she said. And I'm just putting it out there.
Hey, you're
Yeah.
allowed to have fun with a game, and it's okay if it's not Game of the Year material. I've obviously been spending a lot of time with Destiny 2 Forsaken's new seasons, but they're not Game of the Year material, even though I was very excited that they made Best Ongoing Game in the Game Critics Awards, which I realized we never went over, but
Yeah.
because Jeff released all of the winners last week after we had already taped last week's episode. But
all you guys need to know is my personal Game of the Years have won, or not Game of the Year. Yeah, no.
yeah, your game of show
Game of Show have won the
was
past
Resident
years.
Evil 7 2 remake.
2.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 remake, and
Yeah.
then Final Fantasy 7 this year. I'm not saying I have the touch of, I don't know. Fuck it. I was gonna say like the touch of someone, the prophet. You can call me Brits from now on. Anyway.
Brits everybody.
Brits
It doesn't
But yeah,
quite roll off the tongue.
no, it doesn't. I need something better. Help. Your WGG. Yeah, so obviously it's not surprising, like you're saying, that Resident Evil 2 is on here. I checked the Metacritic and it's a whopping 92.
Woo.
And yeah, I was like, damn. And I keep forgetting. It seems like that game came out so long ago.
February.
think it's-
Yeah. Oh no,
yeah.
end of January.
And
January. Yeah, like last week in January. And I wonder if it's because ever since it was announced about a year ago, I had just been following it like a hawk. And so I feel like this game's been out way longer than that. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, man, that's not surprising. Number 2, though, was Sekiro.
That doesn't
And-
surprise me either, actually.
Mm.
It's not my type of game. It is not a thing I enjoy playing, but I definitely can see its merit, and I can see why people do enjoy it. It's just not a thing that I would ever really be into.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't spend nearly enough time with this game to properly evaluate it, probably because I hated myself every minute I was playing this game. And I think that's the trouble with from software titles. I think there's no denying the innovation, the combat design, the level design, and the animation in their games are always top notch. The thing that's troubling for me is the accessibility argument that we had ad nauseum when that game came out about can gamers even play this game, the majority of gamers. And obviously we're not going to dip back into that discussion right now, but I absolutely think that Sekiro deserves a place on this list as a Game of the Year contender so far. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then Devil May Cry 5, number 3.
Oh yeah,
And-
I was pumped
yeah.
for this. This game surprised me in so many ways. I was never a Devil May Cry player. I just always seen it from a distance and been like, that looks a little too weird and flashy for me. But after getting to spend a lot of time with it at Tokyo Game Show, and then obviously, Capcom provided us with codes when the game came out, I was really impressed. However, I do think that they could have pushed some of their boundaries in certain aspects, but I think overall it was a really highly polished, super fun game.
It was, and it was the first time I actually sat down with the Devil May Cry game. And I don't have any relation with Dante. I don't really know. I'm not attached to him, is what I meant to say. But once I started, I couldn't stop. It was just so fun. It was, a thrill. We're along for the ride. Of course, I played it on the easy mode because I don't like doing the combos and all that kind of
course.
stuff.
Baby ass
But
baby
hey.
mode, girl.
Oh, no, I know. I had this
Baby ass, a baby,
baby
mode.
mode. Gonna do a baby ass baby mode. But it was fun. Summer, you didn't play this one, right?
Not yet.
Okay, you should. Nero
Mhm.
is hot.
Who?
Nero.
It's a
Nero.
character.
Okay, I thought you said that, but I wanted to make sure that I heard you correctly because Skype cuts in and out sometimes.
And they have this, and they have this badass lady quartermaster. She's essentially like a gunsmith type character where she will build all these cool badass weapons for you, and she's super fun.
Yeah.
And also Devil May Cry, I didn't come across any bugs or issues, so that's obviously super important. We're looking at this from a critical perspective. Now, number 4, The Outer Wilds. I haven't played this, but I'm hearing this game talked about a bunch.
Yes, and I actually confused me for a second because
That was Outer World.
you know, life is busy and my brain gets a little confused sometimes. And yes, I was like, but Outer Wilds isn't coming out until this fall because I was thinking Outer Worlds.
It's not you. It's literally everybody because I don't know if Obsidian just did not know that this game was coming out before they announced their game. But like the Annapurna has been showing the Outer Wilds for like 2 years now. I've seen it at several community events, including GDC, including PAX. It's created by a team called Mobius Digital. It's an open world exploration, action adventure indie video game is what the description is. And it's on a time loop. And so your game resets every 22 minutes. And so it's got this really interesting hook to it. I've only played about an hour or two of it because I just got really off-put by the rocket controls where your spaceship goes up and down off of planets. But it's a really interesting concept. And it's a game that I definitely want to go back and spend some more time with. But God damn, the naming convention is going to be awful, especially since The Outer Worlds, my personal game of show from E3 this year, launches this fall. So that means technically these two games could potentially be vying for Game of the Year contention against each other.
Oh my God, how awkward will it be if at the Game Awards they're like,
oh no,
and it's and then it's one of them, but the other people get confused and they think it's them, and then
Like
they
a
both start
Moonlight
walking
moment.
up, and then you're like, oh no, wait, which one did they say? And then like the person on stage reading the cue card is like, oh fuck, who's it supposed to be?
that would be bad.
This does seem like disaster waiting to happen.
Yes, it is.
So is The Outer Wilds anything like No Man's Sky?
No. I mean, the only
Okay.
thing that they have in common is that they allow you to land and take off in a little rocket on multiple planets. But No Man's Sky is a massive universe full of procedurally generated planets where
Bajillion billions of planets.
Exactly. Whereas the Outer Worlds is a very set amount of planets. It's
Outer Wilds.
Yes. The Outer Wilds, God damn it, has a very set amount of planets. It's more of a bespoke experience. Like it's a very like specific narrative crafted game. And so it's not like this crazy wild, like your experience will be, 100% different. But even though technically it kind of will because it's an exploration game.
For some reason, I thought the two games are similar. And I think that's just based off of the little snippets I've been seeing on social media. But
yeah. Well, if you read the description on theouterwilds.com, it says The Outer Wilds is an exploration game about curiosity, roasting marshmallows, and unraveling the mystery of the cosmos. Oh yeah, you can roast marshmallows in this game.
Can I roast a marshmallow in real life?
Yeah. I mean, every grocery store is featuring them right now because s'mores.
That's true.
It's s'mores season, y'all.
Sure is.
Oh, Outer Wilds. Andrea, I think I watched you play this at PAX East.
You did at the Annapurna booth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's all clicking now. For some reason, I just didn't remember that was the name of it. Okay. When you mentioned the 22-minute loop, I remember now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool. Well, good for them. I'm glad it's doing well. Now, number 5, Days Gone. This is a game I've been wanting to get back to. It's just right now I'm kind of swamped with a whole bunch of shit, but I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the time I had with it, despite all the really shitty bugs and the sound issues I had. And I know you two got farther than I did in this game. And then you're like, we're done. But I hear the call of Deacon.
Yeah,
I really liked Deacon, but I just feel like this game was too flawed for me to ever really put it in Game of the Year contender.
Absolutely. I'm actually really surprised, Brittany, that you haven't finished this because this is like so in your wheelhouse of an action adventure game that you would love because of the freakers and the post-apocalyptic kind of vibe that's happening in the world.
Yeah, I had lost a week when I was traveling, so I missed a week of it then. And then I had that really bad sound glitch. And so that I also
Is that
lost a week.
fixed yet?
They've
Yeah,
pushed
thankfully.
several patches
Okay.
since
Good,
release
good.
in May.
So-
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like they kept pushing patches that said they fixed it, but it still wasn't fixing it on her game. So I was curious if it finally
Yeah,
resolved.
they finally fixed it for my game, but unfortunately, yeah. So I'm assuming the people who put it in here for a personal, game of the year, something they enjoyed that's not critically acclaimed. But yeah, I definitely missed out on a couple weeks there because it was just I was on vacation for one, and two, the sound I couldn't play it with that sound glitch. And then by the time, because like here's the thing with what we do is you can only allocate so much time to a game. Like you have the games that you go back to and you play like in the evening for a couple hours, like Andrew with Destiny. But when you're reviewing games, like as your career, you have to be able to jump from game to game. And if a game is taking up too much of your time, it's like, well, eventually you just got to move on to something else. And that's kind of what I did. And it makes me sad. But I'd like to get back to it. What'll happen? I don't know.
I think, like I said, I think I mentioned this maybe last week, on a previous show, but I think kind of where I'm at, I was like, okay, I think I'm done now because I ran into this mission where I wasn't prepared enough, like with all the right weapons or whatever, and I'm just having trouble struggling through it. And I'm annoyed because I've played it on like regular this whole time, and it was like, do you want to make it easier now? And I was like, fuck you, game, this is your fault because you set me up for this. You fucking didn't make me. I didn't know what bullshit was gonna be coming out at me in this stupid mission, and I can't checkpoint back.
Oh,
so
God.
like now I'm just screwed and I'm stuck here. So I was just like, well, I guess I leave you here.
Do you
Goodbye.
need me to remote play you out of this situation?
Wow. If you think you can, you go right ahead.
I'm just offering as a friend, if you want to continue playing, maybe I can help you get out of it. That's all.
Now we just need to sneak into her room when she's sleeping and turn down the difficulty so she won't know. And then she'll play it. If she doesn't know that you turned down the difficulty, she's great. She just can't know that you turned it down.
That's a fair
Hey,
point.
I turned
Britt.
the difficulty down in Rage, but I also don't give a fuck about
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you really care. Because I know you with, oh God, what was that one game? Celeste. You had an issue
Oh,
with
yeah.
that one.
I did it, but then once I turned it down, I was like, I'm having so much more fun in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun in your games always.
Have fun in life.
I think that this game, Days Gone, has no shot at Game of the Year. Literally zero chance. Doesn't mean it's not a fun game. Doesn't mean you didn't have a great time with it and that they aren't doing some interesting, good things with this game and that the cutscenes were well directed and the music is nice and the writing is cool. Like, doesn't mean any of that. I just don't think that this game has any shot at winning Game of the Year in 2019.
Do you think it has a
it's
shot of any of the awards, like the more maybe specific, or you think it's going to be shut out?
I think it'll be nominated for Action Adventure of the Year. And it could,
And won't win, yeah.
And it could potentially be nominated for sound design. It could potentially be nominated for animation, but I don't think it will win. No, I think it's going to get shut out. I mean, think about the last 2 years of games and what we have coming this fall. I look at a game like Spider-Man and how that game got shut out of almost all of the awards last year.
That was a great game.
And that game is like a masterpiece game. So
I could see potentially Sam Witwer getting nominated for acting.
I absolutely see him getting nominated for sure.
Yeah. Number 6, The Division 2.
Oh, yeah. Shooty McShoot game.
Pew pew.
I loved this game. I'm so glad that other people are loving this game. I absolutely think this is a Game of the Year contender. And the reason I think that is because what Massive and Red Storm did is taking the feedback from their fans, from all of the players and everything, and really building and innovating in a way with an open world multiplayer game. And the amount of detail that they put into building Washington, D.C., and really recreating so faithfully some of these iconic locations, but then also providing this level of mystery, this sense of adventure and exploration where you would like see a manhole cover that's open and you're like, oh, I've never been down there before, and get to explore a whole new area and find loot for a section of the map that you had no reason to be down there, but you were just exploring. There's still so many parts of the map that remain unchecked and kind of like unexplored, and I can't say enough about what an amazing time I had playing this game.
And as a person who like didn't hop in right at the beginning but came in a little bit later, I do really appreciate the way they designed it to kind of allow people to carry you fairly easily. Like a lot of little design choices that they made, I super appreciated because, like, for instance, Andrea has every place unlocked on her map. Now, instead of my stupid ass running from point A to point B, she can just go there and I can just teleport to her. And that to me is like, mwah, chef's kiss, beautiful. Thank you so much. They really did think about how you want to play with your friends and built it out that way, which I'm like, yes, praise you. Thank you.
Praise you. You know, I haven't hopped into the Division 2 in a while, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but right now I feel like I don't have a Division itch that needs to be scratched, if that makes sense. I feel like right now I'm more into kind of like the single player narrative driven. Like the Division 2 has, I think, a better narrative this time around. And
Absolutely, way better. Yeah.
yeah. And so that's interesting to me. And the sense of exploration you're talking about, Andrea, is interesting because I think my initial reaction when I'm like, do I want to play the Division 2 right now? I remember when I first started the Division a couple of years ago, or was that last year? I mean, once I started, I was hooked. I could not stop. But for some reason, I'm having a hard time just really getting into it, and I'm not getting that hook of, I'm so excited to play again. I can't wait to hop in. Jason's been wanting to play it a lot, but I'm more into, you know, like the Cadence of Hyrule or like the River Bonds right now, and the more fantasy type cutesy co-op games. Because when I think about the Division, I just think of, obviously, like you get undercover, you pop up, you shoot things, you run, you collect loot. It's a looter shooter cover base, and I get that, but that just, it seems a little too repetitive. And my first thought of like, do I want to play the Division 2? It's like, I think I know I'm going to get out of that, and that's not what I need right now. So it hasn't been a priority.
It definitely is something that I prioritize when I want to squad up, like when I want to play with other people. For me, this is not a single player experience I want to have. It's a single player experience you can have.
Yeah.
But for me, that's never the draw of these games. It's how easily can you squad up with your friends and go around and just like have fun while you're on voice chat, talking about your day. It's absolutely that kind of game. And like both Andrea and I have said, they designed it really well to be that for you. So like, that's why I do think it definitely deserves nominations. I don't know about GOTY overall, because I think eventually it might get knocked out depending on like what else comes out this year, but it should definitely have a lot of nominations in other categories.
Yeah. Best online game for sure. Best multiplayer. Best action game. I don't know if maybe it'd be more of an action adventure. It's hard because there's so many crossover genre games these days, but I'm glad that other members of our community also are enjoying their time with the Division, and it's definitely the game I've spent probably the second most amount of time with this year, next to Destiny. So, which is saying something.
So number 7 was tied with Mario Maker 2, Bloodstained, and Mortal Kombat 11. 3 very, very different games.
Yeah, it's tough because Mario Maker 2 just came out, and I'm going to be playing it, and hopefully we'll be talking about it in our hands-on segment next week. But I don't have much to say about it right now because it's, like we said, super fresh. It's only been out for a few days as of us recording this, and Bloodstained's only been out for a week as well, a week and a half.
Few weeks. Yeah, they've had some issues too. But hey, well, the Switch version has had some big issues.
Yeah, I would like the idea of Bloodstained being on the Game of the Year list to me is like never, no way. There's definitely nothing innovative. It's maybe like a faithful recreation or a reimagining of the Metroidvanias of yore. But I don't think after watching several gameplay walkthroughs of Bloodstained online that I would consider this to be innovative unless you've played it and you think differently.
I don't know. I haven't played it. Maybe I haven't. It looks cool. It looks good. I'm happy for all you Castlevania fans. You finally got the damn thing. But yeah, to me, it looks fine. It's not blowing up my skirt as we like to see on the show.
It's like capital F fine.
Capital F fine. I know the people who love it, though, love it. They are in love with it. And that's great. I'm happy for you. And then Mortal Kombat 11. Andrew, I think you're... Oh, Steimer, did you ever play this?
No,
okay.
this is an Andrea joint.
An Andrea thing,
yeah. I really, really loved what they did with the campaign and the story of Mortal Kombat 11. Really a love letter to Mortal Kombat fans. The animation in this game is fantastic. I think it absolutely deserves an animation nod. One of the top tier fighting games of the year, though in fairness, haven't really spent time with a lot of other fighting games this year. But as far as a game of the year contender, it's tough because I think fighting games are forever in their own genre, and you rarely see not only fighting games, but racing games or sports games ever cross outside of their genre to break into the game of the year category. And I would think Mortal Kombat 11 is no exception. I think that there's just not going to be enough people who immediately think of MK11 as a game that deserves to be nominated for Game of the Year. And that's kind of a bummer because I think NetherRealm does a lot of really great work, but there was also a lot of controversy around some of the multiplayer components, some of the loot box and microtransaction components of the game, which seem to be a never-ending issue for games these days. And it's really bothered me because I was disappointed that that was the conversation that got dominating over how well done this campaign was for a fighting game. But I really enjoyed my time and I loved it, but I also haven't been compelled to go back and play.
Yeah, I've always said I wanted to hop into the campaign, but I don't know.
It's super fun. Just put it all the way on easy mode, and you will have a blast playing through the campaign. It's just so cinematic, and the fantasy is great, and the cutscenes are awesome. You will not regret your time.
If you say so, girl.
Girl,
okay.
I say so.
Okay, number 8. This has a lot of my nominees on here too. So Plague Tale Innocence, Cadence of Hyrule, Metro Exodus, and Katana Zero. So when we talked about our spring cleaning secret segment on Patreon, which is now public, I said Metro Exodus is one of those games that I just sadly need to come to accept the fact that I'm never going to finish this game. And I just need to hop on YouTube and watch the
Brittany, no.
Girl, I know, and it makes me sad because I really like it, and I enjoy the story, and I thought the characters were interesting, and it was just like, I know I have maybe like 5 more hours left, so I super duper easily could hop in and finish it, but I'm at the point where I'd have to relearn all the button mapping and then remember like what's going on in the story, and so it's just...
It won't take you that long.
No, it seems like fairly... The buttons are probably similar to a lot of the other games like that. Or are they different?
You have like each button mapping then opens up like there's a second like sub menu or something because it's a survival game, so you have a whole bunch of different options, and I want to play it, but there's too many other games right now, and I've played enough though to know that it's a really great game. It's very fun. It's my first Metro game. Really enjoyed it, but I probably won't finish it.
I absolutely think Metro Exodus is a Game of the Year contender. I think it's a dark horse contender because, like Brittany, a lot of other people who play games professionally for a living, either critically or for fun on Twitch or YouTube, for example, slept on this game, and they've slept on this whole series. Like, I was incredibly impressed with the work that 4A did to really bring this franchise forward, and I really enjoyed the first 2 Metro games as well. The animation in this game is fantastic. I love the exploration. I love how they really expertly melded this idea of an open world exploration with a survival horror shooter, because that's really tough to do and to still make it fun and not make it feel like you're just dying constantly. But I vividly remember wearing my gaming headset and walking through a section of the world at night when all of the like mutant monsters are much more active, and just hearing the throw of the audio design of like the monsters behind me and the monsters in front of me and creeping along and trying to be very stealth, and Steimer's shaking her head like, nope.
I don't want the monsters. No monsters.
But I had such an appreciation because normally I don't gravitate towards those kinds of games either. Like, I get too scared. I like feeling really powerful in fantasy video games. I like to like be very like badass. I don't want to have to sneak around. But what they did with that game is so impressive that I hope more people play it before we actually do, you know, Game of the Year nominations. And if you have been sleeping on it and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that game, I believe it's on Xbox Game Pass right now, which is
that sounds
wild.
right, yeah.
Which is wild to think about. But if you are an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, or if you just want to pick up that $1 deal or whatever, this game is 100% worth it. I thought it was worth the $60 price point, but yeah, I'm glad that other people have said that this game is great, because I definitely they put out
Confirming it is in Game Pass.
Oh, awesome!
Do it.
I thought they had DLC coming. Let me see.
DLC or Metro.
Yes, the expansion. First DLC is coming this summer. Let me double check here. So, Brittany, maybe this is the opportunity for you to get back in when the DLC launches.
Yeah, sounds great. It won't
She's not
happen.
going
Oh.
to.
I know.
Oh, there's 2 expansions, but they're not happening. Wait, the first one, the 2 Kernels, is coming sometime this summer. The second is Sam's Story, which is launching in early 2020.
Yeah. And like I said before, if the survival stuff is kind of a turnoff, I will say the story is great and the characters are really great. And you do have those moments of in-between action where it's just you and this cast of this crew just kind of chilling, shooting the shit. You get to know the characters individually. They all have their own distinct personalities, and it's fun to see where they fit in with the group. So the narrative there is also really alluring. It's a good game, so definitely check it out. Don't be like me. Finish it. Next one is Plague Tale Innocence. And I still think the two of you need to play this game. It's really great.
I just wrote it down because I forgot about it completely. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. No, it's so good.
I want to play.
Yeah, I talked about this not that long ago when I played it. But what I really thought was great about it is think of it kind of as one big escort mission, which is a huge turnoff, but it's not annoying. You are Amicia and you have your little brother whose name I forgot, but he's really cute. And you play as the older sister, right? And then you just kind of guide this little dude along because you're being chased after for reasons that are unveiled in the story. And I could see this game being nominated for Games for Impact, possibly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the narrative is really good, and it's really fun. My only beef with it is toward the end, it got a little too gamey, where it's like, oh yeah, that's right. This is like, because
This is a video game. Here are some mechanics.
This is a video
Yeah.
game, and they're doing the thing where it's like, you typical stuff. And that was my only problem with it. But other than that, it's really moving. There's some really emotional moments. You get really attached to these characters, and it's not a long game. I think you can beat it in like 5 to 7 hours, maybe.
That's not
Something
bad.
around. No, it's not bad at all. And just highly recommend you check it out. I don't want to say too much more about it. And then Cadence of Hyrule, which we just talked about last week. Have you hopped any more into that?
No, but I think that it's a stretch to put Cadence of Hyrule on a Game of the Year list. I don't think it's a stretch to put it on Indie of the Year, or even like Best Song, Best Music, Best Score,
Music.
right? Because the music in this game is really well done. But like Game of the Year, you're
No.
fooling yourself if you think this is Game of the Year material.
Best score for sure. If I feel like if you put Cadence of Hyrule in the indie category, it just has to kind of win at that point, because it through and through it feels like a Zelda game. And anyone who's played this and enjoyed it, it's basically Zelda. It's a Zelda game. It's not Cadence of Hyrule. It's Zelda : the Dancing Link. That's what this game
Ooh.
is. It'll be interesting if this does get nominated for Best Indie and it does not win. I was going to say I'll eat my shorts, but I won't do that because I don't want to eat shorts.
Don't,
No, you
because
shouldn't.
Katana Zero is most definitely getting nominated for Best Indie as well. And that is the one game that I think does have a shot at Game of the Year. I feel like Katana Zero has given me a lot of Celeste vibes, in the sense of not only is it also like a side-scrolling platformer that has unique mechanics, but the way that the game is designed and the art style of the game. I haven't spent enough time with it. It also is one of those games that I'm putting off, like much like I did with Celeste, because it's not generally a game that I gravitate towards. But from what I've played so far, I get it. I get why everybody's obsessed with this game.
That's great. I have not played that. And then
Britt's like,
finally,
moving on.
moving on. No, I was like, I haven't played Katana. That's great. Oh my god. Number 9, we got Dreams, Apex Legends, and Rage 2.
There's no way Rage is getting nominated.
No.
You don't think for best shooter?
Like, there isn't really a traditional first-person shooter category anymore, but if there was,
Action.
maybe. But
Yeah.
But like,
I don't
Rage
even
will
know if
never
it
win
will-
against Doom anyway. That's just not going to happen.
Right. There's
So-
Doom, there's Call of Duty that's usually in there. Like, there'll be enough where, yeah, maybe it'll get a nomination, but it won't win that category even.
I would say Apex has a way better shot at winning Best Shooter or Best Combat or Best Action Game than Rage 2 does. And that's no slight against id and Avalanche. I think they did great work. I just don't think they did anything that really pushed the envelope of what they were capable of. We've seen this fast, fluid shooting from id. They do it better in Doom. We've seen open world exploration and car combat from Avalanche. They do it better in Just Cause. I don't necessarily think that them working together on this title came together as harmoniously as we all were hoping and anticipating it was going to. And that's a bummer because I really loved the first Rage and I was really excited for Rage 2. But I think that it just kind of fell flat because I think they jumped the shark too much from what the original tone and feel of the game was. Like, I appreciate that Tim Willits went to Avalanche and said, go as crazy as possible. But at some point, you got to edit yourself down so it doesn't feel like you're just, you know, shooting off sparklers and throwing neon paint on everything just for the sake of it being crazy, you know?
Mm-mm.
I never played the first one, so I don't have any affinity and or benchmark for what it was like. But I obviously have talked about it on the show before, and like, yeah, it's a fun shooter.
Yeah.
And that's, you know,
Super fun.
yeah, it's kind of it.
It's
That's
great.
what I really have to say about it.
Fun to
If
shoot.
you want to
shit.
shoot some things, that's your game.
Yeah. I don't think Dreams...
Until Doom comes out.
Yeah, no. Well, which is not until next year, right? Wait,
Doom?
no. Is that in the fall, November? Doom
I
Eternal.
thought it was this fall.
I think Doom is this year.
November. Yeah, November
Yeah.
22nd. I mean,
22nd.
listen, like, Doom Eternal is absolutely going to make everybody's Game of the Year
Right.
list, so...
Doom on you.
We'll talk about contenders that we haven't played yet in just a second, but I want to talk about these other two real quick. Dreams. I have spent time with Dreams, and I think what they're doing is amazing. I just don't think it's a game yet. I think right now it feels almost more like a platform than it does like a game, and so calling it Game of the Year or putting it in contention for Game of the Year feels not right.
Would
I
you
wonder-
say Mario Maker is similar?
No, I wouldn't. Because at least with Mario Maker, they have a finalized set of curated levels that feel like a traditional Mario game, even though they don't necessarily flow with a narrative the way like a Mario game normally would. Like, oh, in World 1-1, you're doing this, and then in World 2, you're doing this. But I still think that what they did still feels like a game, whereas Dreams still feels like a experiment in progress. Because the longest Dream that I've played was like maybe 7 minutes.
And Mario Maker 2 does have a campaign, right?
Mm-hmm,
It does have a single player campaign. Yeah, and I mean, I think when you say something like Mario Maker, I think that's kind of self-explanatory. You know, here's all these cool things you can do. Here are these levels you can make. You can download courses. You can play with friends. You can play online. But the concept of Dreams has never really been communicated clearly. That I don't know if Dreams will ever be considered a game. It might always be considered a platform from which you can download some fun games from.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to have a single player element. It's not supposed to be like the world's longest, but
I think you're right. Yeah. And what the idea is that you play the single player and then you can modify and tweak the single player campaign as you go, right? If you want to stop a scene and do some stuff.
Yeah, that's what they said originally.
Yeah.
So, and technically it's just early access right now. Correct? Yes.
Still? Yeah, probably.
Is
Correct.
it launched? Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
There you go. That was our community's top 9. Well, if you want to count, there's actually like 15 or
Yeah,
games here.
there's a few more than that.
There's
but
a few more. That's what y'all voted, which is interesting because obviously, you know, I don't think some of these are going to be on our. This is probably more of a personal critical list combined into 2, but I know Sekiro won't be on our Game of the Year list because we haven't played it. Outer Wilds probably won't play enough of that. So it's interesting to see the other perspective of, you know.
At the end of the year, we should have a community vote. Be like, what is our What's Good fan Game of the Year? We can give you guys some fun categories to vote on too.
Oh, yeah. Best horsey is always the best.
Best horsey.
I
Who's
love
the
it.
best horsey in all the land?
All the land. I make a list of all the games I play throughout the year because I found that trying to remember all of them at the end of the year is just too much of a pain in the ass.
Yes.
So I found that I have at least tried 43 different games so far this year.
Wow.
I know. Some of them obviously haven't stuck.
That's
and
impressive.
I have thanks. And then I have my top 10 games I've played from that list. Now this is obviously personal and critical. So some games on here like My Time in Portia will not obviously make my game of the year critical list, but probably end up on my personal list. So I have Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
I have Metro Exodus, this is in no order. Metro Exodus, Devil May Cry 5, Outward, My Time in Portia, Days Gone, A Plague Tale: Innocence, Cadence of Hyrule, Judgment, and then Far Cry 5 New Dawn, because that last one was kind of a hard one to find, number 10.
Yeah.
It was fun, though. I really liked Far Cry New Dawn. It just
No,
obviously
I
was
remember
anything
that.
new and spectacular, but it was fun. But that's my...
No, I haven't put together a list yet. I just thought maybe it would be, I just typed in some games that maybe were overlooked in our conversation, but clearly not true game of the year contenders. But I want to look at what we have coming this fall that could potentially be contenders for game of the year.
Worlds.
Right.
Outer Worlds.
So I think The Outer Worlds is a super, super strong contender to win Game of the Year this year. I think Doom Eternal is a strong contender. I honestly think Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a strong contender based off what I've seen. And
Pokemon.
you think Pokemon Sword and Shield is actually going to be a contender for Game of the Year?
It could, because it's coming to Switch. And if they do enough stuff that's new and interesting, which we don't have all the details just yet, but it's looking like it could be. I can't say it for a fact, but I think it'll be nominated.
Okay.
I think it'll definitely be nominated for stuff. I don't know if it will be nominated for Game of the Year.
It's hard to say right now.
I think Borderlands 3 is a strong contender for potential Game of the Year fodder because Borderlands 2 won in the year that it was released across several categories, including Game of the Year. So everything we've played so far of Borderlands 3 looks amazing. And don't forget, the big one that I think people are forgetting about is Death Stranding.
Oh, yeah. Death Stranding, and then, that's gonna be one. It's gonna go one way or the other.
Oh yeah,
with that game, I feel like it's gonna be very divisive. But then also we got a Gears of War, we got a Gears 5 coming down the pike too.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Catherine's coming back out. Not that this will be a Game of the Year contender, but I just saw it on the list and I was like, oh yeah, I want to play that. Because like I've mentioned before, it was a game I really wanted to play, but I think I went on vacation or something in the middle of it and came back and forgot how to play it. So I'm excited for that. And then also they have an even babier ass baby mode involved, which I will definitely be doing.
A babier ass baby mode.
Yes.
Link's Awakening will be really cute and it's going to be a really fun game, but it's not going to win anything. I don't think it's going to win it. It shouldn't win anything. It still feels very much like that 90s game, just kind of modernized. So don't do that.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. I don't think Ghost Recon Breakpoint is going to do anything. I don't think it's going to light the world on fire based off what I've seen so far. So I wouldn't put that in. I think the real wild card here is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Because we haven't seen enough. Obviously, you guys got the behind closed doors demo, so you saw more than most. But I think Respawn is an incredibly talented studio. Obviously, we can look at what they did not only with Titanfall, but with Apex Legends. And I think that's the game that could come from behind and be like, yo, I'm just going to alley-oop this Game of the Year business. Because they have the Star Wars license on their side. And that endears people much the same way that The Legend of Zelda does or Pokemon does, right? People have affinity for licenses that they love. And if Respawn can, nail the landing here, I think that this could be a potential really big Game of the Year contender.
I would agree with that. Looking through anything else. No, it's 2020 now.
Yeah. I think those are the big ones.
Yeah. The one that will be that I am just personally excited for, and I don't think it'll be GOTY, but might win some other awards for being interesting, is Biomutant, if that actually comes out this year. It's right now, it still doesn't have a solid date. So maybe it'll get pushed, but it's one of those games that I keep looking at and being like, ooh, hello.
And I really like the idea of Control, but I think that game is just so different. I think it might be kind of hard to onboard people to it, but Remedy has a great track record for innovative and interesting ideas. So I hope people give it a shot, and it's going to be interesting to see where that one lands.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. This year is shaping up to be a great year of video games. Every year I feel like it can't get better, but this year has a lot of really fantastic titles in it.
For me, though, so far, like me personally, granted, I haven't played a few of these games that you guys have been really excited about, so I'm excited to try them. But like, literally nothing this year has blown my skirt up.
And that's
so
not
far.
uncommon. I've actually heard that from a lot of people when I was asking the community, and there were a handful of people who were like, "Yeah, nothing here really, nothing that exciting. 2019's cool, but nothing's like, oh my god, this is so good." Unlike last year,
there
right,
hasn't been anything, for instance, that has ruined my sleep cycle. There hasn't been anything where I'm like, oh my god, I must I am hooked and need to keep playing, which is what eventually God of War did once I got a little bit over my ear infection. But like I haven't had, and Horizon Zero Dawn did the same thing. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that game where I'm like, you know what? I get up at 5:40 almost every day, but I'm still going to stay up.
Why?
And fucking play because I work out. So
I work out.
So it's like, but I'm still going to stay up. I'm going to play this video game. I'm waiting for that. It hasn't happened.
I'm looking at these upcoming releases. I'm trying to predict which is going to be Steimer's next sleep cycle fucker-upper.
I'm hoping it's Outer Worlds.
It's definitely Outer Worlds. That's not
till October.
Yeah, you have some time. I'd say
which is good because I need some sleep.
I'd say the closest one. Well, Borderlands in September is a good call.
What about you? Do you think that'll fuck up your shit, Steimer?
Possibly.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, we're gonna play together. Let's go fuck up your shit.
There we go.
Girl, I'm happy to play with you, girl. I will play with you anytime.
Yeah. I answer my messages when you send them.
God damn it. Whatever.
You love me.
God. I love both of you very much. You guys are lovely people and friends, and I could not live my life without you.
Oh, that's sweet of you. Just turn your notifications back on, boo. Okay.
Yes, just for us.
Can I
Brittany, are you gonna play? Yes, you can.
Oh, I can block everyone but you two?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Life changing.
Am I gonna play what, Steimelot?
Are you gonna play the Sims 4 Island Living expansion when it comes out later this month?
I think I am.
You can be a mermaid.
I can be a mermaid. Yeah, like I was telling our friends during our stream, now that I'm on this I almost said kick-ass, I mean kick-ass. What? PC. Words are hard, it's fine. I was like, Sims, Final Fantasy 14, and I went on Final Fantasy 14, but I'm kind of wanting the Sims. Kind of wanting it.
You want a little more woohoo.
I want more woohoo. I don't think you can get that in Final Fantasy 14.
No, not in the same way.
No.
You can't be a homewrecker in that game.
Can we play together? Can you play The Sims online with people?
I don't think so, but I can watch you play, or you could stream it.
They should, because I remember it was GameCube or PS2. My friend came over and we played The Sims together, and she would go to work while I just slacked off all day.
Oh my god,
that sounds fun.
The Sims. I'm like, yeah, you go work, do your little desk job. I'm just gonna go set the house on fire, and it was great.
I'm just gonna go set the house on fire.
Please no.
Go flirt with the neighbors.
House on fire. The Sims is one of those games that I have to cut myself off from, and I can't play.
Are you gonna play it?
Actually no, because I can't. If I play it, that is definitely one of those games that fucks up my not only sleep cycle, my eating, my going to the bathroom. Like I will
IRL.
sit there and like my whole life falls to shit. The last time I played The Sims, like really, here's what my diet was: candy corn.
Oh no.
Occasionally barbecue from the restaurant down the street. That's it.
Okay.
I would go home and eat a bag of fucking candy corn and play all night and then wake up and go to work the next day. It was horrible. It's really bad for your body.
That's definitely bad for your body, but it sounds no, it sounds fucking terrible. Don't
No,
ever
it
eat.
is terrible
Yeah.
because there's that point of no return with candy corn where you're like, this is making me sick and I can't stop. Like, and I pushed past it a lot of times. I was like, I shouldn't eat any more of this. I don't want to eat any more of this. And yet here I am eating more of this.
Summer, do you think you'll get back into Guild Wars too?
I really want to. I really
It's
want to.
another one of those things where you shouldn't.
It's just hard for me to get in, especially because I'm so behind already on a lot of things. This year's been really rough on me and my schedule and my life. So it's like I just don't think I have time right now to go back into Guild Wars, even though I love that game. But maybe at some point.
Okay.
I heart it. It's a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies and
There.
gentlemen, this has been a wild ride. Let us know what you think your game of the year so far contenders are. Who will make it to the finish line in December? Only time will tell. Thank you so much for joining us this week on episode 112 of What's Good Games. Don't forget, if you guys want to help support everything we do here at WGG, you can head to patreon.com/what'sgoodgames. We have a variety of membership options. We have our Patreon streams that are happening at the end of the month. And until next week, we miss you. We love you. We hope you ate lots of hot dogs. Goodbye.
For a minute, I was like, why are you asking our listeners to eat hot dogs? And then I realized. Then it clicked.
Yes.
Eat wieners, kids.
Eat your wieners. Eat your wieners.
Eat the wieners. They're great.
Don't you wanna eat your wieners?
Eat the wiener. Put it in your mouth, but make sure you put some sauce on it, or it's gonna be hard going down. You know, one likes a dry wiener.
Everyone likes a saucy wiener.
Saucy wiener. Everyone likes a saucy wiener full of ketchup and relish. JK, relish is gross. All right, here we go.
What? Relish is delicious.
You know, I don't think I've ever actually had relish. I just don't think I like it, even though I've never had it.
Oh my gosh.
This is a lot of things with you, Brittany.
I know, dude. I know. It's so bad.